September was a great month for me. I got to see some beautiful friends, my lovely family, and I managed to sew a lot in the month of September, despite being away for half the month and then being pretty sick for more than a week. Let me tell you all about it. In Friday Sews Fashion, I'm going to start off with what I've made. And as I have said, I've made quite a lot. And I'm not going to go in any particular order, so much I have to juggle my makes. Let me put them down here. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the Creative Maker supply case I made for my 5-year-old grandson. I've made one for each of the boys as they've entered kindergarten. And this is so cute. I do have to finish the inside. I got my bobbin stuck on my bobbin winder. Hopefully I'll get that sorted out this morning. I just can't get it off. So I want to make sure I've got my appropriate thread colors in the bobbin because I will be sewing on this blue that's light colored, but it'll be showing here or hopefully hidden here in the seam. This is so cute. It has 2 pockets here in the front, and then I devised my own little zipper pocket here. I put the zipper pull at the bottom, thinking that while he's working with it, it'd be more likely to zip up from the bottom. I don't think it really matters here. I'm going to load this up with supplies. I will finish it, and I will bring it to him. He knows that he's getting this. He's been asking for his suitcase thing for quite a while now. He did pick out the fabric, and I'm excited to give that to him. The next item is for his little sister. It's an outfit. It's a twofer here. This is the Maeve Dress by Violette Field Threads. It's a free pattern. It's very beginner friendly. And it turned out so cute. The Violette Field Threads Maeve pattern comes in 3 size ranges: girls, tween, and women's. And the women's size does have bust caps. Mommy and me matching opportunities here, or in my case, it'll be Amina and me. And I think I'm gonna be making us matching outfits for the spring. The kids do put a diaper cover on the baby when she's wearing a dress, so I decided it was an opportunity to make her something else. I used a free pattern by Dana Willard, made every day, for the diaper cover. And I used a really cute label, and I put it right there in the middle of her bum. And it looks like the cat is camouflaged and waiting for butterflies. Anyway, I thought it was sweet, it was cute, and it worked well together. I do have a sew along on my channel for sewing that dress. It's kind of long, so I did put in timestamps, but I dropped a ton of hints. The next 2 items were inspired by my video of using up patterns that I've owned but have not touched. And I have come up with my top. I did sew the Ashton top by Helen's Closet. It's a really nice shell top. I'm probably the last sewist in the world to sew the Helen's Closet Ashton top. I did the sleeveless version with the binding at the neckline and the armholes. It doesn't use a lot of fabric, and that means I have some of this fabric left over. This is a viscose linen. It's a Minerva exclusive. It was a Minerva brand ambassador make, so the fabric was gifted to me. Love this. And Charlie really likes this fabric. It's got all of my colors in it. It's so pretty. And I love sewing with linen viscose. It behaves well. It drapes nicely. And I've already worn this many times. I sewed this right before we left for Ireland. I made another set for myself, again going to the patterns I've never touched and wanted to sew. This comes under my category of simply chic. I wanted to have some upscale pajamas, and so I looked to the Winnie pattern by Merchant & Mills. This is the pattern here. It's menswear inspired, and I thought, let me give this a shot, see how I like it. I'm going to give you a few details, but just to summarize, I love the top, not so crazy about the shorts. I was committed to trying the whole set, and I'm glad I did. So let's start with the top. This is another Minerva brand ambassador make out of this beautiful Supima cotton lawn. It is so comfortable, and I think I got the sizing right on the top. I sewed a size 22 and it fits really nicely. I'll insert some photos. I feel like it's oversized and loose enough to where if you're like me and you roll around a lot in your sleep, I'm not a very restful sleeper. It worked great. I never felt restrained, and it just gives me a little bit of an elevated look. Came together really quickly. I think the 22 was a good size for me. Now let's talk about the bottoms. I wasn't sure about the bottoms when I was looking through the pattern and looking at the pattern pieces, but I told myself, Christine, you said you wanted to sew some patterns you've not sewn before. Don't just substitute a sleep short pattern that you know you like. So these are the Winnie bottoms, and I will say that it was a bit of a mistake to use cotton double gauze for my toile because it doesn't behave anything like cotton lawn. I did want to cut up more of that really nice fabric and then have it be a fail or not really enjoy the pajama shorts. So I went to my remnant pieces and I had scraps here and there of this cotton gauze. I did make the tie out of the fabric that I made the top to tie it together, pun intended. And then also I figured if I liked the shorts, I didn't sew the tie in and I could take it out and use it in the new set. I don't really like the shorts. The biggest issue is they're too big. I sewed a 22 and they are just sloppy big on me. Part of it is the shorts. Part of it is the size, and probably part of it was I did not sew the elastic in. How the waistband is constructed is you sew your ties to a piece of elastic, and then on the side seams, you sew the elastic down so that you're only pulling this from the front. They were too big, so it wasn't really working. I was having to really pull the tie to get it to cinch in. And then it bunched up and didn't have this beautiful look because I was constantly having to pull it in, tie it tight, and adjust it. So I will wear them. I do sleep in them. Don't really love them. Probably what I'll end up doing is going back to either the Peppermint Magazine lounge set shorts, which I've made as sleep shorts and really enjoyed, or I will do the Lane pants as sleep shorts. And the bonus to both of those is there are pockets. And I do like pockets on my pajama shorts. If I'm wearing a nicer pair of pajamas, I'm not just going to sleep and immediately changing out of them. Maybe I'm going downstairs and doing a few things. I tend to pick things up as I tidy and stick them in my pockets. I like pockets. None of this was too difficult. This took a little bit of time. This was really simple. I have sewn the diaper cover before. The dress was new to me, but it's a beginner-friendly pattern. What took the most time was I filmed the tutorial while sewing it. The Ashton top was a new to me pattern, really quick, very simple design, but very wearable. I can wear it tucked in or untucked. The Winnie pajama set was a really quick sew. I think I got those finished before I went to Ireland. And speaking of Ireland, our first few hours in Ireland after we landed, Charlie and I met up with Rachel from the French Seams and Agatha from In Agatha's Cottage. We had lunch together, we had a nice long visit, and then afterwards Agatha took us all around Dublin and we had a little bit of a tour. We sat down and had tea and scones. It was a really good day. We laughed a lot, we shared a lot of stories, and I highly recommend getting together with sewing friends. The next morning, when we were lying in bed adjusting to the time zone, Charlie said the first thing when he woke up, "Yesterday was a really nice day. I really enjoyed meeting your friends." So Agatha and Rachel have little gifts for me, so I thought I'd share them with you. Agatha gave me this cute bag, and it's so nicely made, really nicely finished, with all kinds of goodies inside. I'll put some photos in because I don't want to dump it all out. There's some Specky Seamstress binding. I used some on that Maeve dress. I really like the quality of this binding, And I think the hearts will be perfect for something for Valentine's Day, if I can hold on to it that long. Also, Agatha included a pincushion. It's right here by my side because this is where I use it. It's perfect for my sewing needles for hand sewing. Sometimes I'll do a little hand sewing while watching TV with Charlie. We have been binging The Great British Sewing Bee. We're about to start season 10. We have one more season left that we can view in America. Then we have to wait for season 11. Both of us are a little bit addicted, and I have to say, Charlie even more so than me. I've caught him several times watching the show without me and not waiting for me. And then he can't help but come and tell me what's going on. He'll say, well, I didn't want to disturb you in your sewing room. And I know that's not quite true because he just didn't want to wait because he has no trouble disturbing me in the sewing room. So I've got a large variety of labels from Agatha. And what's fun about them is they're labels I don't already have. And so I have fun picking them out, particularly this one with a rocket ship. Would be perfect for my middle grandson. He loves space. The baby loves her rubber ducky in the tub, loves to take a bath. So many pretty labels. Thank you, Agatha. Very generous gift. And she also included a knit picker, which is different from a seam ripper. And this picture shows it using to pull serger tail through the seam. And I know they're also used for when you get a pull in a sweater for getting it to come back down inside the garment. And this is really going to sound silly. As much stuff as I have up in my sewing room and how I don't put limits on myself on buying, I've seen these, but I've never picked one up. So thank you, Agatha. I'm going to learn how to use it and use it well. Now, Rachel gave me a huge Cadbury chocolate bar that did not make its way out of Ireland, and also a bag of the most delicious potato chips. They're Irish. It's not just a beautiful tourist gift type item. When you look at the package, it was devoured within a couple of days, so I'll have to insert a photo. They were really delicious, and Charlie in particular appreciated those two items. And then Rachel also, it's amazing how well we get to know each other through chatting on each other's videos and watching each other's videos. But this is a gorgeous piece of fabric, beautifully tied. I just think this is so pretty. It's some Liberty Tana lawn. And I already know what this is going to be. I'm going to make the baby another diaper cover out of this, and it will be worn, and it'll be worn well, and definitely will be put on display as she scoots and crawls and runs around. It is just too pretty to put inside a bag. I don't know. Maybe it'll become something for me, but thank you, Rachel. I love Liberty Tana lawn. I would never say I would only sew with one fabric, but that would be in high contention if there was some weird rule that you could only sew with one fabric for the rest of your life. It might very well be Liberty Tana lawn. Love the flowers, the print, the colors. Oop, upside down. So beautiful. The print, the colors, really nice. I want to use every inch of this. We'll see whether it becomes the most bespoke diaper cover for a baby or something for me. We came back from Ireland tired and with colds that took more than a week to shake. I don't know if it was just a double whammy with the jet lag and the colds, but there was no sewing for a week. When we were feeling better, we went to visit our oldest son and his family and had a fabulous day together. We were running errands with the boys. We had what we called a little bit of a date. We took them to lunch and ice cream and to the bookstore to get some books. And then afterwards, Charlie wanted to stop in at the bird store. He is a bird watcher, wanted to see what they had there. The youngest grandson did not want to go in the bird store, and there was a fabric store next door. Ironically, he wanted to go into the fabric store. Now, he has been placing a large number of orders to Mina's sweatshop, So it didn't surprise me that he wanted to go in because he wanted to pick out some fabric, which he did. I really love his choice. This is what he picked out. It is a Riley Blake fabric. I got 1.25 yards because he wants a shirt. He said, I want a shirt out of this, and I think it'll make a fun little tropical shirt for him. This is a Riley Blake fabric as part of their Peter Pan collection, and coincidentally, it was half off. So for, I don't know, I think it was about $8 for 1.25 yards, he can have a new shirt. But he's gonna have to go to the back of the line. He got the Creative Maker supply case, and I need to do some other sewing first. Plus, we're going in a couple of weeks for another visit. We're going to be babysitting, and I want to take some good measurements because I think the last shirt I made for him does not fit, and I want to make sure that if I'm going to go through the trouble of making a collared shirt, that it fits him. I will either use the Children's Corner Robert pattern or the Little Lizard King Bayfield shirt. The Bayfield has a collar stand, and the Robert shirt's a little simpler. You just sew the collar in flat. Both of them are cute, and I do intend to make just a short sleeve shirt. I think that's what would work best with that fabric. Now that my September sewing plans are complete, I can look forward to fall plans. I still have a couple of patterns on my list of patterns that I've owned, haven't made, and identified that I would really like to sew them. One of them is a jacket for Charlie that he could really use, a jacket for me that I could also use, and I've added a few other things that I would love to sew. So we'll see what happens. For my autumn plans, I am finally going to make myself that coordinating cozy lounge set. I have this beautiful lightweight loop back French terry from Minerva. This is a Minerva brand ambassador make, and I love this color. I'm gonna go all one color. So what I'm thinking is the Arlo track jacket. For the bottoms, I'll use either the Closet Core Plateau joggers, or there's one by Style Arc. I can't remember the name. I'll put it down here. I wanna do not too slim of a leg, not too wide, kind of the Goldilocks, and I want a hem bottom because I want these to look a little more polished, a little more put together. And that's going to be the first thing on my cutting table. I'm signed up for a class next week to make the Emerson pants. I want to make the best use of the class. It's a 2-day class, and I want to really work on fit. And I know this is a pull-on, easy-wearing elastic waist pant, but to get the fit right so that you don't have the look in the back like you're wearing a diaper. So I do want to do a muslin first. I have some patterns coming that I had printed by Tape Free Patterns, and hopefully it'll come in time for me to cut it out, make a muslin at least at the shorts length so I can get the feedback and hit the ground running when I get to class. I know I said probably 3 or 4 years ago, I was chatting with Emma from So Do It Emma. She made some really nice linen Emerson pants, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna get the pattern, I'm gonna make some too right away. Well, 3 or 4 years later, here I go. My grandchildren are still all under 10, but the boys, the 2 oldest boys, are really tall for their age. So I am going to have to look for another pattern to move on from the mini Hudson pants. They're not quite in the men's sizes yet. I'm going to be trying the Brooklyn jogger, and I have sent that pattern away to be printed as well. I have their special box of French terry fabric here. They all get new pants for Christmas, but not in Christmas fabrics, and I'm really looking forward to it. I still have some of the strawberries left over from my oldest granddaughter. I'm not going to be making and sending to Germany. I will, when I visit them, make her a few things to bring, but I don't want to be paying the postage. Instead, we're just dropping some money in our savings account here. I've got this really cute, this I've been hanging on to for far too long. This is one of those UV reactive fabrics where you take it out into the light and all of a sudden all these pastel colors appear on the bunnies and clouds. I really need to sew this up. It was expensive at the time. Can't imagine what it would be now with the tariffs, but I need to get that on a little person. Each of the 3 boys got to pick out a fabric for their pants, and the oldest wanted sharks. I got enough to do a sweatshirt too. I won't try to do everything by Christmas. I've learned my lesson, but they will at least get the bottoms by Christmas. The middle grandson is very into space and planets. This is what he chose. And the littlest really liked this camo, so that's what his are going to be. I think I only got a meter of this, maybe not even a meter. Yeah, 8/10, 80 centimeters for the youngest boy. Since the Brooklyn Joggers is a new pattern for me and I'm adjusting to these tween sizes for the boys, I'm gonna make 1 pair of Brooklyn Joggers before we go up to babysit for both of the boys to try on to see if I've got the size right. Our 9, soon to be 10-year-old probably needs a 16 for the length, and then maybe 10, 9, 10, 8 for his waist. So there's going to be some fiddling with this, but I'm going to make up 1 pair of what I think will fit one of the boys, have them both try them on, and we'll see. They're 2 years apart in age, and likelihood is it'll fit one of them. It'll give me good information, and I'm also going to be taking a lot of measurements. Charlie's been very inspired by the Great British Sewing Bee to ask for a few items of clothing. He would really like for me to make him a cycling jersey, and I have been also inspired to stretch outside of my comfort zone and give it a try. If you have sewn a cycling jersey, I would love to know what pattern did you use, and are there any special notions that I should purchase in order to have a successful cycling jersey. He does cycle maybe 20, 30 miles at a time, so I need something that's going to be moisture wicking and that's going to fit just like a shop bot. I'm not expecting my first jersey to be perfect, but I would like to eventually get to the point where I can make all his cycling jerseys. They're really pricey. The last one he bought was over $100, and it was not very good quality. It was a race jersey, and I've already had repairs on that, which I think some of you have seen. I'm excited to sew with all these cozy fabrics. I just need the weather to cooperate. I hope you're doing well. Let me know what you're sewing, and I will see you soon.